Welcome to the Power of Your Mind podcast. I'm Victoria Gallagher, your host. Have you been attempting to use law of attraction or hypnosis to attract financial abundance, a soulmate, or career success? Would you like to be happy, motivated, and successful? Have better health, enjoy more fulfilling relationships, overcome struggle, and gain mastery over your life? Then join me on this amazing self-help podcast where you'll unleash the power of your mind. I'll be sharing 20 years of wisdom and techniques of hypnotherapy, law of attraction, visualization, meditation, personal growth, positive affirmations, and other effective methods to help you tap into the great power which resides in your mind and become the best version of yourself. Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the Power of Your Mind podcast. You're listening to episode number 109. I'm Victoria Gallagher, Law of Attraction hypnotist and #1 best-selling author of Practical Law of Attraction, Align Yourself with the Manifesting Conditions and Successfully Attract Your Desires. I'm also the founder of HipTalk.com and HypnoCloud apps, which gives you access to over 500 hypnosis recordings right in the palm of your hand. So be sure to download that app from the app stores. Today, I have a very special guest with me, Grace Redman. Grace Redman is an entrepreneur who has owned and managed one of the most successful staffing firms in the Bay Area the last 20 years. She is also a co-author of several books and a success and transformation coach. Grace works with women to help them diminish their anxiety and negative mental chatter, build their confidence, achieve their goals, and increase their prosperity mindset. As a result, they create the fabulous life they've been dreaming of and inspire other women to do the same. She has a long-held, deep commitment to building her own self-development knowledge, reading hundreds of books in the area, as well as receiving numerous certifications in life coaching, NLP, and hypnosis. She first began these certifications with the goal of improving her coaching skills to better mentor her recruitment staff in her staffing firm. However, she soon realized that she had a profound passion for helping people uncover their mental blocks, achieve their goals, and live more fulfilling lives. This propelled her to start her coaching practice. And on a personal level, she has faced many adversities and life challenges. And these have also helped her to develop a keen sense of empathy and understand others' pain. She is intuitive. She has an approachable personality, making it easy for clients to feel comfortable with their vulnerability. She believes in inspiring people to dig deep and push beyond mediocrity and feels creativity is paramount to designing goals and plans tailored to each client. She is a visionary and has a wide range of methods in her toolkit to do this. She can be found on her blogs and her videos on her website, daretoachieve.com. And today, Grace is going to share some of her insights on creating your fun and fabulous life. So welcome to the show, Grace.
Thank you so much, Victoria. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here. It's been great getting to know you over the past several months, and I know that you are, a student of law of attraction and manifesting, and also I'd imagine kind of teaching a little bit in your coaching practice.
Yes, absolutely. That is definitely, what I teach, the law of attraction. And I've loved learning from you the last few months because you have such a, beautiful way of also teaching it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so great to be able to, there's so many different ways of expressing the law of attraction and manifesting and teaching it and learning about it. And so it's great that we have such a diverse community that really is there in a supportive way to help. The information is just abundant.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much information. and so many ways that the law of attraction gets communicated. And I find that each way that is communicated, it's beautiful. I'm like, gosh, I wish I could have thought about that. It sounds so beautiful.
It
so
really
ways.
Yeah, it really does. It really, really does. So what was it that, what was a turning point that inspired you to really start embracing and learning about the law of attraction?
So the turning point was probably about 5 years ago. It was during the holidays, and it was during those 2 weeks between, Christmas and New Year's, or that week between Christmas and New Year's where most of us are off. And I always looked forward to that week. Because owning my staffing firm, it was rare to have that much time off. And so that particular week that year, it was a very stormy, wet winter, and we really didn't go out much. And I'd known about Abraham and the law of attraction, from years before, but for some reason during that week, I downloaded every Audible I can find in regards to the law of attraction. And I probably spent, 15 hours just listening to the principles. And since then, I just been immersed in it. And a little bit after that, I became a certified NLP master practitioner and hypnotist. And I just started implementing the law of attraction to what I was teaching and implemented it into my own life. And that was 5 years ago. And my life has changed, dramatically.
Yeah. What are some of the things that have changed in your life since you've started practicing?
Well, I'm going to tell you a story. So when I was 19, I went to a therapist for the first time because I knew that there was something, off in my life, and I didn't want to continue moving forward. I needed support. And I saw that therapist for, 25 years on and off. Mm-hmm. And recently she retired. And when she retired, she was pretty transparent with me. And she said, when I first met you when you were 19, I really didn't think you had any hope. I thought you were going to continue down the path that you were continuing down. And she apologized. Yeah, right. She said, I was a young therapist. I apologize. I don't mean to offend you. I'm like, I'm not offended in any way. I'm actually flattered that, told me that, because it shows me how far I've come in all those years. So now when I was 19, I didn't know about the law of attraction, but obviously I was, manifesting my life and making changes based on the success books I wrote. And so at that time I was manifesting through grind and hustle and just like sheer will, which exhausted me. It was exhausting.
I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Totally. And so 5 years ago, learning about the law of attraction, I said, that's a limiting belief that I have to create success through hustle and grind. So I'm going to focus on the, law of attraction principles and create with ease and grace. So it took my nervous system a while to get used to that, principle. I probably say till just recently, I've really embraced it. But the way, it's transformed my life is going from hustle and grind to create. And now I just create these. So I'm still taking action, but I'm making an effort.
Can you repeat that last part? You cut out just a minute.
So I used to, create through hustle and grind, and now I'm learning to create with ease and grace.
Yeah. And hence your name, Grace.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, that's beautiful. I think so many people, they're either one way or another. I think when it comes to the law of attraction, either they are completely passive and want to just sit around and hope and think and meditate and do nothing as far as any action goes. And so with that, there's really not a lot that's going to happen because you have to take a little action. And then there's the people that are just all act, but they're not acting from spirit. They're not acting from guidance. They're not acting from what the law of attraction is instructing them to do.
I agree. And I was the person initially that just took action. I used to listen to the 10X rule, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you need a little bit, and then, there's, like you said, people who just kind of sit back and, just meditate. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I believe action must be taken. It doesn't need to be 10X action, but it does have to be intentional. I mean, there has to be a why behind it. What's the why?
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And, and there needs to be alignment. There needs to be some sort of, I think people are really afraid to step into their full potential and their greatness. And so instead of going with what they really want, they go with a safe, whatever they think in their conscious mind that is possible, but they don't realize that if they really got in touch with their why, and they really got in touch with living for a purpose that is maybe beyond what they think in their little mind is possible, then they would be in alignment, and they would actually move probably faster and easier toward what they really want.
Definitely. I mean, that's why the why is important, but it also has, like you said, has to be in alignment. It has to be in alignment. So if the why is, we always want to, create a larger income, but if the why is to create a larger income to keep up with the Joneses, that's not really in alignment. If the why is to create, a larger, income to, have freedom, that feels a little bit different. And you're probably more, apt to attract that income when you're in alignment like that, instead of the intention is, to prove your worth.
Right. Oh my gosh, my cat. I don't know if you can hear my cat.
No, I can't.
His cat I'm not even sure which cat it is. That's how weird. So sometimes we do fall out of alignment though, right? I mean, we have our good days, we have our bad days, we have our days that we have our high vibration, we have days that we fall into a lower vibration. So what do you do? What do you recommend to your clients, or what do you do for yourself when you find yourself in that place and you need to get into a higher vibration, get in alignment again?
Yeah. Well, I've definitely dipped to the low vibration recently, considering, the situation that we're in, in the pandemic. So, I've definitely dipped. And in those moments that I dip, sometimes I let myself stay there just so I can feel it and let, whatever I'm feeling move through me. I just make sure not to stay there long. And so when I'm ready, I go to my toolbox. So it's, meditation, music helps, raise my vibration. I connect with someone, a girlfriend or friend that's like-minded. That helps me. I go out into nature. That helps me. I exercise. And I mean, there's so many things, but those are the main things that I do to raise my vibration.
If you find value in this personal growth related material, I strongly recommend that you sign up for your $1 trial to my Personal Growth Club. Just head on over to personalgrowthclub.com and get a whole month of premium Personal Growth Club video training materials, meditations. You also get 6 free hypnosis sessions that are valued at over $174, all for this trial of just $1. Even if you cancel, you can keep the 6 hypnosis sessions. That's my gift to you, and that's how confident I am that you are going to love Personal Growth Club. Go to personalgrowthclub.com and start your $1 1-month trial today. Right. So it's important. What I'm hearing you say is before you even allow yourself to get into that lower vibration, if you're practicing law of attraction, it's important to have a toolbox, something that that, all right, I acknowledge I'm here, but then when you're ready to step back out and raise your vibration, there's a series of things that you know that always works for you. Music, meditating, getting out in nature, exercising, things like that. And there's, hundreds of things that a person could do.
Actually, hypnosis too, that's a duh. I recently downloaded your app, so I've also listened to, some of your audios, and those have been great. The great thing about hypnosis, if it's, because we've been working from home and I took a break in the middle of the afternoon, I'm like, I'm going to do some hypnosis. I crashed. But then I wake up and I definitely feel so much better.
Yeah. Hypnosis is amazing. And, it's funny because I have found myself at times having the anxiety, and it's not even so much been about the, like the coronavirus or because I've been working from home all my life since I started, but it's been more like this, just the general unrest and the general unease and the negativity. It's just, we're surrounded by it right now. You just can't seem to get away from it. And I'm finding lately I'm unfollowing more people than I'm following.
Yes. And, I absorb energy easily. So that's been a challenge for me. In the beginning, when we got into lockdown in the beginning, it was challenging for me to maintain my energy because I do absorb. But yeah, it's a very negative, it's just very negative everywhere you turn. So I've had to be, like you, very mindful of what I allow in my space. Mm-hmm. And that's why these self-care tools or these grounding tools, these higher vibration tools are more important now than ever.
Yes, they definitely are. It is so powerful on both sides, and we have to remember too that our inner world is always creating our outer world. We're not creating the situation, but we're creating how we respond to that situation.
Absolutely. And I've been teaching my students this and my family, within my home. I said, yes, even though there is this chaos going on around us, it is what it is. However, the laws of attraction, the principles are still in effect. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't change. So you get to choose. Are you going to focus on the negative, or are you going to choose to focus on what's going well? Because even right now with all the chaos, there's still beauty unfolding. They're just not showing it to us. We just need to look a little bit harder and create it ourselves.
Exactly. There's a paradigm shift that I think is happening for a lot of people right now, because in some ways this is a gift. This is such, oh my goodness, if you're not growing right now through this process, I don't know what you're doing.
I'm with you. I was, in my mastermind group, I taught at the beginning of COVID, I said, I know you don't want to hear this, but this is happening for us, not to us. As challenging as it may seem, but this is happening for us so we can grow.
Absolutely.
And get uncomfortable, because when we're comfortable, it's not going to be, I'm not going to move out of my box when I'm comfortable. It's when I get comfortable and that, universal 2x4 hits me over the head is when I have to make that big change.
Exactly. Oh, it's so true. It's whenever, say, let's just be honest, like when business dips down a little bit, all right, it forces you to get creative. It forces, that's what happens with me, at least, is just, I spend a lot more time meditating. I spend a lot more time, really kind of thinking, okay, how can I shift? What can I do? What kind of product can I create? Or what kind of, what can I invent? And it just forces you into these new levels of depth of thinking, and you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't have those ideas if you weren't faced with some kind of level of uncertainty or discomfort.
I totally agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah.
I
So
totally agree.
So what for you has been the most difficult concept to grasp when it comes to law of attraction, or just to put into practice even?
That's a great question. I think the most difficult concept for me to grasp is the surrender and acceptance.
Mm.
That's been the most difficult, because you want what you want when you want it.
Yeah.
But the universe knows better. And just, being patient and understanding, that you are where you are right now for a reason. And the universe knows how to guide you better than you know how to guide yourself.
It's so true. It's so true. And I think that's probably one of the most difficult concepts for most people who practice the law of attraction to grasp, because a lot of times, maybe if you're new to law of attraction, you think of it kind of like as a genie out there granting wishes. And so all you need to do is think about this for a few days. And then if things don't happen in a few days, you're like, where is it already? Where, like Abraham talks about, where's my stuff? Where's my stuff? Where's my stuff? But the more we try to force it and hold on tightly, what people don't seem to grasp is that holding on tightly, it doesn't feel very good.
It's resistance.
Yes, it's lack of trust. If you're holding on and gripping something so tightly and you're attached to it, that's a bad feeling. That's a negative vibration.
Well, you brought up something else, being attached to it. And this is maybe something else that's challenging for me, not being attached to the outcome, being open. Because, okay, this is my plan. This is what I envision my outcome to be. But again, maybe there's a different outcome that's going to be better. So not being so attached to it. That's not easy.
No. Have you, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, but it just occurred to me as a question. So do you have an example of a time when you wanted something to happen and it wasn't happening, and you were almost like forced to have to let it go? And then it kind of almost boomerangs back, but it's like even better than you imagined, or what it was that you originally wanted?
I don't know if this is the right example. But, during this COVID, I'm going to be I was planning to transition out of staffing and focus on coaching 100% in the summer of 2021. Mm-hmm. So I was excited for 2020 and kind of kicking it out of the water for the next 18 months with my staffing. And that was my vision. That's what, I had in mind. But the universe obviously had something else in mind. And, staffing obviously has been very, very quiet. And I've had to now start focusing, more on the coaching, because I was kind of doing more staffing and less coaching. And so now I'm focusing more on the coaching. I don't know if that answers your question, but I guess what I'm getting at is I probably should have transitioned out of staffing and focused on my coaching full time a while ago. But this is the universe's way of pushing me into it sooner than I felt I was ready.
That is actually perfect, because it's almost counterintuitive. It's almost counter to the way that I thought, because a lot of times it takes longer than you think that it should take. Our goals, because of all the resistance, or because we think we know how it's supposed to happen, so we're not open to seeing the actual way that the universe is guiding us for it to happen. And so we end up making things take a lot longer. But in your case, your thing kind of happened before you were really kind of ready for it, but you made yourself ready for it. You said, okay, I gotta do this now.
Exactly. I was like, okay, this was not how I planned it, but I'm just going to pivot and make the best of it and take it from here.
Yeah.
So, I had a vision and a plan, and, I was manifesting for the staffing business, and it was the universe like, yeah, no, not happening.
Right. No, I love it. I love it. That's a great story. And I just love how sometimes, the universe, it doesn't know time.
Oh, it doesn't. But, kind of another part of your question, was there something that I wanted to manifest and it just didn't show up? Yeah, there have been, before, I was in my relationship, there's relationships I really wanted to manifest and it never happened. Well, thank goodness it never happened. That was the universe keeping me safe. So back then I was like, oh my God, it's not happening. Yeah, good that it's not happening. It wasn't meant to.
Yeah, the universe definitely has a way of kind of protecting us in a way from things we think we want, but there's something below the surface that we're not seeing, and there's a reason. I truly believe there's a reason for everything.
I do too. Even, sometimes it's hard to accept that when, there's trauma or tragedy, but underneath it, I do believe that everything happens for a reason.
Hello, this is Victoria Gallagher. I hope you're enjoying listening to the Power of Your Mind podcast. As a way of thanking you for listening, I'd like to offer you a one-time discount of 35% off your first order at hiptalk.com. Just go to hiptalk.com and enter the code podcast in the discount code area in your cart, and you'll receive 35% off your first order. Thank you so much for listening to the Power of Your Mind podcast. Right. And for those who believe maybe in past lives or between lives or karma and things like that, it's tough because a lot of people say, yeah, I didn't call, these were super, super bad situations onto myself, but there's lessons that people learn. And there's, maybe, from being a soul needing to come here to learn something, we may have called things to us because it was something that we felt as a soul that we needed to experience.
Oh, I totally agree. And ever since I learned the concept that we are a spirit in a human body having a human experience, it's made I look at things a lot different. Not that I don't get hurt by tragedy. Of course I do. And I feel pain. And of course I do. But then I have the higher awareness, like, okay, the spirit came into this body to teach this lesson. As painful as it is, they chose this and I chose this. There's a lesson here. So that's made dealing with tragedy a little bit easier for me. Again, not that I don't get brokenhearted or sad. Of course I do. I just have a different awareness of it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So what makes you lose track of, speaking of time, what makes you lose track of time?
I lose track of time when I'm in flow, and I can be in flow in many different ways. I love when I'm out in nature with the redwoods in, the forest. I definitely lose track of time. When I'm with my girlfriends or family and we're laughing and having a good time, I look down like, whoa, it's been 5 hours already. So I lose track of time when just I'm in flow and I'm in alignment and I'm having a good time with, with myself or people I care about. Music sends me to like another planet. That's one thing I miss. It's like I miss live music and concerts because you could just have an out-of-body experience and totally lose track of time when you're just, listening to the music and being in, the vibration with everybody.
Oh my goodness. That I was literally just thinking, I think a couple of days ago, it's like, oh my goodness, what about concerts? What about concerts? Because I definitely can get lost in the music. But that is for me definitely one of, I mean, we have a lot of different, we have a lot of similarities when it comes to how we get into our high vibe. For sure, meditation, for sure, music, singing definitely does it. And I forget how much I love singing until I find a song that I just want to sing along with. And that just changes everything.
Tell me about it. Me too. And the funnest thing one of the funnest things is getting in the car on a beautiful day, rolling down the windows and blasting the radio so loud. Like they're probably thinking, does she think she's, 21? Because I'm like, yeah, I do. I
Yes,
love
absolutely.
I love the music.
Yeah, and dancing. Yes. And, I mean, we've been doing a little bit of that just in our, just in the kitchen while we're cooking dinner or whatever, just like turn it, Alexa, play, blah, blah, blah. And we'll just start.
Just, what are you doing? Just leave me alone. I'm dancing.
Exactly.
I'm pretending I'm J-Lo, damn it.
Exactly. And being out in nature, I mean, it is, it's so great. And I really do believe, I mean, it's about holding that high vibration as much as you possibly can. And that just kind of helps to take all the worries away, all the anxieties, all of the fears, all of the stress. It ebbs and it flows.
Absolutely. We're human. It ebbs and flows, and we're going to dip into the low vibration. It's natural because sometimes when we dip, there's a lesson there, and then you just come back up. We're human. And sometimes I've
learned that it's, it's really useful for, I mean, there was a time like when I very, very first became a law of attraction teacher and I was teaching people about the law of attraction, and I would make these YouTube videos and people would make these, negative comments and they didn't believe. And I'm thinking, I asked the wrong question. I'm like, how could people not believe in the law of attraction? Right? Well, I got my answer. Well, I had to go through like a kind of a veiled experience where I was challenged in my belief about it. And so it's like, when you ask a question, you almost have to experience the answer. And so I feel like sometimes these ebbs and flows, like when you get into the fear and you get into the worry and you're getting into the anxiety, it's giving, because you and I both coach people and help people with these things. We are getting to experience what our clients feel like when they come to us. It's giving, the universe is showing us this is what it's like to not believe in the law of attraction. And so you get to actually go through an experience in a moment of what it feels like to be anxious or to be fearful or to worry about the stuff not manifesting. And so it was kind of, so those experiences, I think, give us an opportunity to feel compassion and empathy.
Oh, absolutely. For sure. And, that's been something not challenging for me to have compassion. No, I'm definitely nurturing, compassionate. But what was challenging for me in the beginning when I first learned this, 5 years ago, or really got immersed in it, was, oh my gosh, how can you not get it? But then I learned, like, I have to accept people where they are. And if I'm, why can't you get it? That's a judgment, that's resistance, and that's lowering my vibration. So I've learned, like, that's where they need to be right now. And my lesson from them is to accept them where they are and have compassion without judgment.
Yes. Awesome. So at this point, what would you say to somebody who's just, getting on the journey to learning about law of attraction and manifesting? What would you say would be, one of their first steps to getting themselves more into alignment with law of attraction and manifesting what they want?
That's a great question. So I think the first step would be to make an effort to be aware of your negative thoughts. be aware of the negative thoughts. And what would go hand in hand in that, when you are feeling kind of negative or in a down place, do something to divert your energy or divert your attention, and divert your attention to something that brings you joy. Like we talked, if that's music or dancing or playing golf or whatever it is. So be aware of your negative thoughts. And when you get into a place that you're feeling not so good, divert your attention by doing something you enjoy doing or something that brings you joy. Because even if you're not, focusing on all of the principles, just that feeling good, having fun is going to raise your vibration. And then you're going to be open, you're opening yourself up to possibilities from there.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, this has been fun. I've really
fun.
enjoyed, chatting with you about law of attraction and manifesting. And I understand that if our listeners come over to your website, that you're offering a free forgiveness self-hypnosis audio. Can you tell them a little bit about that?
So yes, come visit me at www.daretouachieve.com and join our community, and you will receive a complimentary forgiveness hypnosis audio.
Wonderful. And forgiveness is also a very powerful strategy when it comes to law of attraction. Yeah. If you're holding on to any resentments or resistance or thinking angry thoughts about right now what's going on, there's probably a lot of people resentful about being stuck in their homes or losing their jobs or losing loved ones or having even caught this nasty thing. No matter where you're at with that, it really kind of comes back to you've got to let it go. You've got to forgive.
And it's a process. I know sometimes it's, not easy, but the forgiveness is not, letting the other person off the hook. It's for you.
That's so true. It is for you. It is for you. Absolutely. It is for you. Well, thank you so much for coming on the Power of Your Mind podcast and offering this very generous self-hypnosis audio for our guests and enlightening us with more tips and strategies about how to practice law of attraction. I've really enjoyed getting to know about your story and learning what you do to make the law of attraction work better for you. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure and it was a lot of fun.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with your friends. And once again, be sure to subscribe to the Power of Your Mind podcast if not already. We can be found as Hip Talk on all our social media accounts. So like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, and sign up for your free self-hypnosis video training course at hiptalk.com. Be sure to subscribe to the Power of Your Mind podcast, and you'll be instantly notified the moment the next podcast becomes available. Also, please be sure to leave a rating and a review to tell us how you're enjoying these episodes, and that way you're making a contribution toward others getting to share in this valuable information. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. You've been listening to the Power of Your Mind podcast, brought to you by HipTalk.com, Personal Growth Club, and HypnoCloud apps available at iTunes.